Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Succession Season 3, Episode 4. Is everyone ready to go out to the island?
Go for a walk?
What a weird episode this was. This is the most terrible stuff I've seen happen on an island since Lost. Like, really, what was going on here with Josh?
There was some really good stuff going on. The tension between Kendall and Logan,
Yeah.
10 out of 10. They said everything without saying anything, and Logan's manipulation was so on point. It always is when it comes to his kids. He knows what they want, and what they want is him to be a dad, and he will pull it out when he has to, and he'll give just the smallest taste of what it's like to have a parent that loves you just enough. It's so cruel.
And then he will immediately kick them promptly down the stairs. Like,
Yes.
Logan is, I mean, all this episode does is reinforce further. Number one, Logan is the worst. Kendall, pretty close to being the worst as well here.
There's a reason why Logan's on top. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And it comes out in episodes like these. Like, really, he knows when to turn it on. He knows when to be hard, and he is stubborn. He is a very hard man.
All right, well, as we get into all of the nuance and the weirdness of this island, hit that subscribe button because we don't want you to feel like you're on an island by yourself watching these videos. Be a part of our
good.
whole world here. Yeah, this is my mental exercise going into every video. What's the weird analogy I can make with the subscribe button? But no, we're talking Succession.
Yep.
We just talked the premiere of Dexter New Blood yesterday. We suggest you check that out as well.
Yeah, we're almost at 56,000 subscribers. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to help us, get to that number. It's a big milestone.
Okay, I have a hot take that I got to get off my chest here from the start.
All right.
Did this island suck? Because I kind of feel like if you are a billionaire like this Josh guy is, can't you find a better looking island? Like, this place didn't actually seem fun. There wasn't any nice beaches. Like, what was this?
It was interesting that he owns so much land that he does not know where he is. He is just so rich. However, that lunch that they were having out there, oh, that looked so good. Nobody's eating anything except Josh. I was like, you gonna let this food go to waste? Beautiful seafood right on the shore. To be rich.
To be rich, except with a better island, Josh. Your meal looked good. Your weird trails, I'm not so much a big fan of, which, by the
That
way,
house was nice though.
what a flex when it comes to I think I need you guys to come out to my island in order to meet. Like, who can say that?
The shareholders and
Yeah.
the investors. And it was true. That scene where they were sitting at the beach was my favorite part of this episode, for many reasons. One
Yeah.
was that we have Kendall and Logan there thinking, that they've got some sort of power in this, and they've got absolutely nothing. Josh holds everything. He's the money guy. If he pulls out of this, they are screwed. Then he, of course, keeps going away and leaving them by themselves. And every time we had seen this throughout the episode, they just wouldn't speak to each other, could cut the tension with a
Yeah.
knife. It was so good. Like, it was really well done. And having them sit there as well after Logan had just poured out his heart
Yes.
and gave exactly what Josh wanted to hear, and just enough to maybe make Kendall rethink his position, to kind of be like, he's a good kid and I love him. And that hurt Logan's heart to have to put that out there right at that time after everything.
Yeah.
But it was just so well played. It was so well acted. I loved it.
Adrian Brody was such a good cast for this.
Yeah, he was.
He's like got that really good ability to just come across as like so charming and like, oh, he doesn't have anything else going on, when in reality Josh probably calculated every single move this entire time, forcing these two to be in awkward situations with each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he got everything that he really wanted out of this. He wanted to see that they were going to be able to work together or still have some kind of love or respect or something. And Logan did dangle that out again. Kendall could be running the show someday. Every time I hear it now, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. We're all on this ride again. And because it's never real. Like, Logan is never going to leave this role.
No.
And to see it all fall apart because Logan couldn't keep up with the walk was really surprising. It felt almost like Josh was just looking for a way to get out of this. And he was like, oh, this'll be it.
It's such an interesting manipulation, like all of this with the walk, which I loved the slow descension into chaos with this, because at first we have, kind of cordial Logan Roy at the dinner saying nice things about his son. Then they start going on the walk and he's just starting to go in this whole, like, I'll die before I give the company to you sort of shtick. And
and we've got Greg. We'll get into the Greg of it all. But just basically telling Kendall, you've got nothing. It's over. You've lost. And then as he's walking, it's getting worse and worse for him. I mean, Josh, Logan has had health problems already. You're going to take him on this giant walk? Man, Logan is so stubborn, and he's so hard. He knew that if he looked weak on that walk, that he was going to lose Josh.
Here is my theory on this, and I could be wrong. Everybody let me know about this, but I think that what Josh wanted to see was, I think he knew that Logan was going to struggle on this walk, and maybe Josh never actually knew where he was going, and maybe that was sort of the point. He wanted to see Kendall do something for his dad, who was clearly strong, and Kendall routinely kept being like, oh, he's okay, and Logan's almost just like flailing on the ground, dying.
But what was Kendall supposed to do? He kept telling Logan, like, hey, let's get the cart, let me call for a doctor, let me call for help. Logan, no. So I mean, Kendall's hands were kind of tied, because he knows that if he calls for the doctor, Logan's going to be more upset. Logan's going to feel like he looks weak. But then there was that moment where they finally got Logan to sit down on the rock, and Kendall turns to Josh to kind of talk a little bit of business, and Josh is like, you should tend to your dad. So I think your theory is right.
I think in the end, all of this just reminded, ultimately Josh that, okay, what they did with Logan in his whole, you're my son and I love you, like that's the nice moment. Like, what are you doing when the chips are down, when there's a little bit of chaos, when you've got freaking Logan really just like passing out on the ground?
Yeah, it was, they dropped the ball there. Because I do wonder if Kendall had been tending to Logan, if Josh would have seen that and been like, okay, you know what? When the chips are down, the family is still together. Okay, cool. I know that the family is a rock no matter what.
Now, congratulations to you both, Logan and Kendall. You guys thought you were moving forward. Now you both are losers. You both have lost in this way. And now you may be potentially losing out to someone named Stewie. How does that feel?
No. Oh, Stewie's going to be back again. All right. I suspect that the next episode is going to be a lot about them trying to deal with Stewie.
Yeah, I have a strong suspicion here. Now, Kendall, let's talk just briefly here about Roman, because Roman had, in my opinion, the line of the night when sort of questioning Kendall about how many times he was trying to kill his father.
Yeah, oh, Roman.
Yeah.
It seems like Jerry is out on him, and his heart was definitely broken. I mean, he is still trying, I guess, his best to have a little bit of flirtation with her, but she says she was out on a date. By the end of the date, she did still have a little bit of flirtation with Roman. Is the relationship over? Probably not.
No, and I think in Roman's head, it will never be over. And
no.
I kind of feel like Roman's whole storyline, which is so absurd. I don't know how this was actually a storyline on TV. This man tattooed something on his face.
Yeah, it was really bad. And I actually was surprised that Roman wanted to bring this bit of information out, because it seemed like him and Kendall one day, being rich, you know what, decided to ask someone who was homeless
Yeah.
to tattoo Kendall's initials on his head, and he did it for whatever sum of money or whatever
Yeah.
was going on. That Roman thought that'd be a great idea to find this person and get photos to put out there about Kendall, but that's like a bomb that's going to explode all over you too, Roman.
Yeah.
I've been a person who's been like, I'm team Roman. I think he has a lot of good ideas and no one ever listens to them, but this was not one of your better ideas, Roman.
Roman, you're thinking with your heartbreak. I don't know if this is true. This is just what I'm going to go with because I still want to believe in you, Roman. You were so upset about Jerry going on a date that you came up with a really stupid idea that didn't really go anywhere for you.
No, it was a stinker.
Yeah, listen, you can't they can't all be winners here, Roman, but congratulations. You still had my favorite one-liner of the entire episode, so I tip my cap to you for that.
So let's talk about Greg and Tom. Last week you said that you thought that Tom is going to flip.
Yeah.
I am now on board with that. I think that he is going to flip. I think his marriage to Shiv is just so broken and damaged. He's so obsessed about this idea that he will probably go to prison because Logan will send him there. That'll be no problem. And he knows it. So it benefits him to jump ship at some point.
What do you think about Terminal Tom as a nickname for Tom?
Oh.
I listen, Tom. Once
This
again,
show is so dark.
yeah, this show is so dark, and Tom continues to be the MVP of the season for me, and all the ridiculous, because in between that and him running around with like that scarlet letter, and then you have him basically just bullying Greg to Greg's face
And trying to figure out how to make toilet wine.
Yeah.
No, Tom. I feel bad for Tom. Tom has done some things, but this episode I definitely felt for Tom. But he seemed to be able to push Greg into signing the papers. So now Kendall is without Greg.
Yeah, this was a win, however weird of a win that it came down to in between Logan started the bullying, by the way, with the here's your Coke, Greg.
I know.
Like, so first Logan bullies Greg for a little while, then Tom comes in
And threatens to wrestle him.
which I wish I was in the room when Nicholas brought in Happy filmed that scene, because how much of that was that a slap fight? I don't know how much
so
of that
good.
was improv.
Yeah, I don't know. That was great.
And then we have Greg. You can have anything in the world, Greg. You can have any part of the company. What do you want? Parks.
Yeah.
Parks.
Listen, he doesn't know what he wants. We saw that when he sat down with Logan and was basically like, what do you want to give me? And Logan's like, that's not how this works. Like, you got to come to me with what you want and I'll see what I can do. Until then, take your Coke and go.
Yeah. I feel like if you are Logan, if you are Tom, I think you're just going to look at Tom. You're going to look at Greg's offer of let me have Parks. You're going to shake his hand so fast and send him on his way. I mean, I understand Parks are in a little bit of a downturn right now, but Succession, this stuff isn't happening in the world of Succession. You know, they're not taking in what's going on with that health crisis. Parks are booming there, but still, small potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, you've been saying that you think Greg is going to end up on top at the end of all of this, and it's very possible, but I'm kind of starting to wonder if maybe it'll be a Tom. It's going to be somebody that we're not expecting.
Greg being on top of this may be my worst take on this whole season. I wish I could yank that take back from wherever I said it. I'm much more proud of my Tom is going to flip prediction.
Yeah, I personally don't want to see Greg sort of taking over everything, because it just feels like we've seen this before on TV with Silicon Valley and Big Head, and this show this is standalone show. It doesn't really take from anything else. It doesn't recycle old stories or tropes or other things. It really is its own thing.
There needs to just be in these videos like a recurring segment entitled "Is Succession Really a Comedy?" Because why am I laughing so much?
Oh my God, it is a comedy. It is for people like us that are just like have this comedy in the back dark recesses of our mind. It is very funny.
The entire Conroy is the He's like the guy who comes off the bench in the basketball game and scores a bunch of points in like 5. Because Connor Roy comes
Oh
in
my
and is just a complete and total moron in this episode with his
only this episode.
Okay, yes. I want in on the action, even though I'm completely unqualified for any action, and I just need to have action because the entire world knows I'm fundamentally useless, and my campaign is sinking, so give me something.
Speaking of unqualified, let's talk about Shiv. So
Yeah.
Shiv got this title of president.
Yes.
And she hasn't really been part of the company in any kind of really big enough role to have a title like this. So, of course, nobody is respecting what she has to say. She doesn't really know what is going on. She's not qualified
Yeah.
for this position whatsoever. It was obviously just something that Logan needed to give her to make sure that she wasn't going to go over to Kendall, sort of be like, here, you can have this title. But I think he wasn't expecting her to run around and start like trying to push her ideas everywhere. Like, it was just going nowhere. And I wasn't surprised that nobody was respecting her. She just hasn't earned it.
I'm glad that they did this whole storyline. And yeah, it was a little weird to me that not a lot of the stuff this past episode with Shiv and like the letter and all that was, none of that was barely even addressed. But at the same time, I do think it was important to sort of show, oh, Shiv, she's been kind of in the perimeter of Waystar, but she's never really been on the ground. If you're not really on the ground dealing with the people, they're just not going to respect you. And, Shiv needs to go through this if she wants any sort of chance at this company in the future.
Shiv is very smart and she's ruthless, but
Yeah.
she does not have the experience to be running this. I mean, if Logan really wanted her to be running things someday, he would have had her running things. He would have been working with her to build her up. It's just like Roman really hasn't had much of a hand. Like, yes, he's in the company
Yeah.
or whatever, but he's not someone that Logan is really considering. Shiv, to me, feels like he's not really considering her because he's never really including her on anything that's going on in the company. Then you have Connor. Connor is not being considered.
No.
It really was Kendall was being considered until Kendall ended up being maybe too good at the role. People liked him too much. He was becoming too popular. And then all of a sudden Logan was like, guess what? I'm not going anywhere. Like, it's sort of where it is.
One of the things I like to kind of think about after episodes of Succession are, okay, who are the winners? Who are the losers? And the great thing about this episode is everyone a loser other than maybe Josh, because it's like...
And Stewie.
And Stewie, yeah, because it's like, okay, Logan, you almost died. Kendall, you didn't get anything out of this. Shiv, no one respects you. Roman, you have a terrible idea. Connor, you just straight out suck. Tom, you're going to prison. You got a bad nickname.
Greg's got Parks.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Congratulations, Greg. Cousin Greg is the one Roy family member who somewhat succeeded in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really did love this episode. It was weird, interesting.
And funny.
Really, unless you can't tell, we're having a good time with Succession, everybody.
It's such a good show. It is really one of the best shows on TV. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you already are in on it.
Well, let us know what you thought about this episode. Where do you think this just pure, insane trip of a show is going from here? Subscribe for more updates. Give this video a like. Thank you guys so much as always, and we'll see you here next time.